What's up, everybody? Addison here, alongside with Janice. Janice, what's going on? You there?
I'm here. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's eating their mushrooms.
Yeah. So, real quick, Facebook announced they're going to get rid of our live videos after 30 days. So, we're going to direct you towards our Spotify account. We're working on that. So, all of these streams will now land there, and they'll have a little bit of better audio. So, help us out and check out the Spotify account. So, Janice, you were hiking today, posting lives. What do you got? Anything? What's up?
Nothing.
Nah, it sucks.
Listen,
Or you just walk around filming?
I hiked two different trails. I went on one that was probably like 7 miles inland from the ocean, and the other one was 6 miles past that, and it had altitude. So it meant that I could climb up high, which is where I want to be. I want to climb up in the mountains when I'm looking and I'm foraging, because the mountains have the most snow. It's the runoff from that continues that my mycelial layer thrive in. You know, you'll find trumpets growing on slopes. You'll find all kinds of things growing on slopes. So I went to that other place, and it also had, like a pond and a boggy area, as you're coming down the other side. And, a little footbridge that was really cool. It
doesn't.
Nothing.
Didn't look too much different than like a typical East Coast beachy. Kind of remind me like of my area a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, you didn't find anything.
The Saco, and by the way, it's called the Saco Health. I corrected it in my live feed that I did. The Saco Health Walk.
Yeah.
It wasn't natural.
It was pretty cool.
Saco Health Walk. And I thought that was awesome that they used that word in it, because it really is kind of low impact there. It's pretty much you're walking all on, boards on, plywood, man-made bog.
I think it looked pretty cool.
But I learned some pretty cool things about the black spruce, how to ID it, and stuff like that, and all the little critters, the little moths, these miniature larvae that actually live in the individual needles of this spruce tree, and then they emerge, and they're beneficial to the bog.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I love reading those. Pennsylvania always has those little informational boards. It's always worth the stop and read them, because you never know what you're going to learn.
Yeah, it was. I found, there was a couple spots that had some red-belted polypore that looked like it was trying to pop, and for some reason it just stunted. It just stopped. And, because it's not fresh, it got all larvaed up and stuff like that. And I found one Amanita Gesawi that I collected, and then there was some Suillis that was there. They kind of look like boletes, but they're not. And I only found one grouping of those, which I thought was really weird, because this was a prime area. It was up high. It should have had a whole bunch. Plus, I had a water source down below.
Yeah.
Not even one reishi, and it was loaded with hemlock.
And a
bunch of diseased hemlock, too. Nothing.
I think your prime time is coming soon. I think my prime time, we're in the Pennsylvania prime time for sure. It's popping, dude. Everywhere I go, it's like lit up like a Christmas tree with whatever I need. So it's been raining every day. It has been hot as heck, and I haven't had an issue finding anything.
Dude, it was 101 2 days ago.
Yeah, my issue is too hot.
I got 102.
Yeah, let me tell you my little adventuring. So I've been out almost every single day, either after work or day off. I've been going hard. So today's been a nice break. It's been storming. I had lunch planned, so I couldn't go out and forage. But I've been busy, man. The group's been busy too. So thanks everybody for joining. Post your findings and where you're from, where you're finding stuff. That really helps us as a group.
And here's very beneficial. Otherwise, you won't get an answer. When you want us to help ID a mushroom, as in many of the mycology forums that are out there, take a picture of it in situ. That means, exactly how you found it in nature. I want to see if there's trees. I want you to get that tree in there. If it's growing from a tree, especially, I definitely want you to get that tree in there. You take the top part of the mushroom, use a size comparison. If you bring clippers out or a foraging knife with you, lay that next to the mushroom so that we have some sort of size comparison. And definitely get a picture of the underneath, the gill surface. And nowadays, everybody's got cell phones, and everybody knows how to flip the camera. So, you just get it under the cap, leave it intact, you know what I mean, and go ahead and take that picture. And if you want to further, up your ante, this is where we segue into, Addie and I were going to start talking today about how to ID things in your specific state and what the easiest way to do it is, other than those plant apps.
Yeah, Facebook's
very
good.
Incorrect, a lot of them.
Yeah, like I think a lot of the plant apps are good for like when you want like more opinions. You know what I mean? You're like, all right, this one said yeah, this one said yeah. The people on Facebook said yeah, but learning how to kind of like iNaturalist is kind of the best way, I think, to learn on yourself. I think rather than just getting a bunch of people to verify it all the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think iNaturalist is a good tool that we've been using, and it's getting super popular. As you can see, this ghost pipe map is lit up like crazy. It used to not be this lit up.
It's important that you know how to find iNaturalist.
Yeah, so we're going to...
letter I, and the word naturalist all together, and I believe it's .org, isn't it?
Yeah, .org. So
it's .org, and you can pull up information in your individual state. There's different file folders within that page where you can get the biochemical breakdown if it's been done, the spore print analysis, all kinds of stuff like that, as well as, what counties even in those states.
Yeah, check this out. So you can
take a picture of something and it's never been found in your area, or it's never been found, period, whether it's an herb or a mushroom, whatever. And you could actually send it off for DNA analysis, okay? That doesn't cost much at all, really. A couple $100, I think. And you could actually name a new organism.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Whether it's a mushroom or whether it's a plant. So
we've talked about that.
It's great, and everybody should be utilizing it, especially if you're foraging, because it is an excellent self-learning tool.
And it tells you where to find them. This is why we have the map.
Exactly.
So if you're like, we had a question, someone was in Utah, right? So, wanted
to know if it grew in Utah.
And we sent the map, so like I looked on the map, and I hate to say it, but they might have been SOL in Utah. There's no reported. It doesn't mean it's not there. Where is Utah? It's left of Texas, right? Yeah, there it is. So... So I'm on it. Nobody's reported it. That's not saying it's
Utah's a lot of high desert.
Fish Lake National Forest. I don't know.
It doesn't grow in desert climates. Mushrooms.
Yeah.
They don't grow in desert climates.
So that's a tough one for Utah. Let's see how far maybe they'd have to travel to go to a nice forest.
I mean, the kind of mushrooms that we're looking for, the mycelium, you know what I mean, like the.
Yeah, it's pretty barren.
Find those in the high desert. You can find some shelf mushrooms and stuff like that, maybe, but that's about it.
Yeah, there seems to be up towards Seattle. I noticed there was a lot. Here we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. This area's been getting popular too. I've been noticing.
We got Andrea, Amanda, and Sarah.
Yo, what's up?
Who's joining the crew? Sarah's our regular. I love Sarah.
Let's
we got to get out there foraging.
Let's see here. Let's look at the most recent findings. Let's see what the most recent things. I got to get off this map. Here we go.
Well, you have to because nobody else can see the map.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we're on Facebook Live, right?
Yeah, I have it on our screen, so we're all looking at it.
Oh, okay, good. Except for me, obviously.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean? And I was like,
There it is.
you kind of made my
There
heart
it
sink. I was like, has this
I'm
not
just
been
sitting here
working?
talking
Have I been just talking with a blank screen?
No, you have not been talking with
All
the
right,
blank
so here
screen.
you
Your
go.
partner over here has been an idiot. That's why.
So here you go. Look, this is cool. They have a peak. The most sightings is in July. So we're not even at the peak.
Oh, yeah.
We're not even at the peak yet, everybody. And we're really not, because when I was hiking, and you can see my ghost pipe flower pictures, is like that I've been going hard on in the other group. But long story short, the first bloom came like really strong. Like, did it not?
Yeah.
And it's going away very strong too. Now there's very small ones that are just popping up, and a lot of them are going to seed. So it's time for me to just chill for a little bit, I think. It's raining its ass off too, so I think I'm going to give it a week.
Well, don't forget.
But traveling's going to be a thing, right?
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
yeah.
I'm just excited.
Listen, I know, with foraging, remember I told... People always ask me, what do I do? They always see me all over the place. I'm here in one state one morning, and, that night I'm in 3 states away from now, up on a mountain someplace, and they don't know how I do it.
Yeah.
When you forage, it's all about chasing weather patterns, historical and present. It's all about being able to understand weather patterns, historical especially, because that's how you're going to be chasing weather patterns. And then altitudes is just something you're always going to chase when you're foraging, because some things only grow on a north slope or a south slope, or things like that. And it's true. If you want to get the mother load of things, you got to hide and you got to go up. And it's a lot of that, isn't it?
Oh man, yeah, hiking. I call it, you got to get your woods legs. It's like
yeah, but paying attention to the weather patterns too, because in July especially.
Oh yeah, the weather patterns too. Yeah, well, I thought
you get the microburst.
I thought you meant
tornadoes.
yeah, I'm sorry. I was zoning out on the map. I was pulling up something else. But yeah,
no,
yeah.
That's okay, because you're pretty insulated when you're under the canopy when you're foraging out in the woods. Anyways,
yeah,
it could be raining.
It's
and
been
you
dicey.
Get a drop on you.
I was telling you.
It's nice.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was brutally hot the past 3 or 4 days. So like, I went out for maybe an hour and a half at a time. And I was actually pretty.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to be out there that long, but I was pretty successful. So I stayed, and I did the stupid mistake. Like I was sweating. I was like, all right, I couldn't cool down, so I was like, all right, let me just go a little longer. And I started, when you're crouching down, sitting up, crouching down. So when I sat back up this last time, and I got lightheaded, and that hasn't happened in years. And I was hot, and I felt lightheaded, and I was like middle of nowhere. I was like, all right, time to go. That's stupid. So, my mistake, too hot.
Like, you know what else I carry? Addy and I talked about this earlier.
Yeah, so.
I told him, I said, I Gatorade, and get the kind
Gatorade,
that's got the real sugar in it.
I was just so hot. I had water, I had everything, but it was just so hot. I couldn't help it. I was just overheated.
Get the kind that's full-on pure cane sugar in it. You need those isolates with the salt that's in there and all those other good minerals that they have in there.
You don't want Gatorade Zero?
In order to pick you up. No artificial sweeteners, yo. They cause cancer.
All right. Hey, I want to take a look.
But coconut water is also a good one, by the way.
Coconut water.
Yeah, coconut water is. Do you know when I went to Brazil, the NICU units actually had green coconuts hanging on IV stands, putting in the
That's cool.
Unit. Yeah, it's the best hydration, thing that you can drink, because it's so full of electrolytes.
I know a lot of people are drinking aloe water now. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I'm not drinking aloe water.
People like it. I don't like the taste of it, but yeah.
No, listen. In South America, it's drinks. Everybody drinks it, and I get it. You know, you got a lot of aloe vera plants down there, but I've just never been partial to it.
Yeah. So I have pine sap pulled up too. I figured we'd do a little. We just take a peek at this because we looked at this 3 months ago, right? So now we're going to take a look at it with everybody.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring Utah back up because I know pine sap grew in this area, and they report pine sap, but they don't report ghost pipe in Phoenix, New Mexico, or Colorado. So for people that are in this area and think, oh, I can't find ghost pipe, well, pine sap might be your best bet if you're going to go foraging because it does the same thing. So if you're in this area and you just, you know, you're like, damn, I can't find ghost pipe, they're not reporting it here, you know, it's going to be a hard find. Well, they're reporting pine sap. So that's my recommendation to everybody out there in this area. So I hope that helps somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's going to help. We're a little spoiled on the East Coast. I don't want to brag, but we're sitting pretty. But yeah, for this area, that's the two difference. So this plant is hand in hand. We did a great YouTube video too of the comparison between these two, and that actually was getting a lot of attention. So maybe we'll repost it since we have a lot of new members. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool. I've been having some success, not with pine sap, but I was looking for it, and these guys are finding it. Look, 25 minutes ago. Let's see where this person's finding it.
Listen, this iNatural is a great tool. You can
Luxembourg. Oh wow, they're in the Netherlands. All right, so they're in Belgium. So that was a report from Belgium.
But it was on
iNat 25 minutes ago.
Yeah, but that was just the newest one.
Yeah, that was just the latest.
Yeah. All right.
Wolf Christiane or Christiani. That's a good find. He got a good picture of it because that one blends in pretty well. So good for
now
him.
We know if we go visiting to Luxembourg, we can get ghost pipe.
I don't think I'm planning on leaving the U.S.
No, I'm not leaving anytime soon.
Unless I'm going to Canada, see some friends.
Yeah, but look at how beat up that pine sap looks. Now, here's the thing. I wonder if it's
been hanging
genetically
around.
Similar to the pine sap that we have in the U.S.
I don't know.
Pine sap that's in Mexico, because that's kind of like doing its own thing, because it doesn't even share a genome with China either. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's look up black trumpets. So I wanted to look that up.
Yeah, black trumpet time, guys.
Yeah. So quick story. I found them on accident. I found them on accident and just took some pictures and just kept walking. And then like 5 minutes away, I was like, way down this hill, and I was like, wait, I should have grabbed a few. I think that was black trumpets. I was just so blinded by all the ghost pipe that I just took pictures and kept walking. Jan's like, what are you, crazy? Go back up there. I'm like, dude, I can't.
I can't believe it. He read out. I told him he better go up there.
I might go this Sunday. So if you see, if I post, it's a bitch, dude. It's like an hour and a half away, and it's up there. So
yes, look at. I travel 3, sometimes 4 hours. I texted my family up in northern Maine, up in the county today. They're up in Ashland, and I texted my cousin's wife, and I said, "Is ghost pipe popping up there yet? What's going on? Have you seen any mushrooms yet?" And that is literally from where I am in Saco. It takes me 3.5 hours from Bangor. So it's an additional 2-hour drive on top of that for me to get up to the county to chase whatever mushrooms or ghost pipe, anything I need to.
Yeah.
My stock is up and running, so it's aged.
Yeah. Let's see if I could find the area. I'm not trying to give away my trumpet spot, but
nobody will give you an exact spot. That's the thing.
Like see this
area. They're not
see these little dots, somewhere around here I found some. But yeah, if you're looking at this is Pennsylvania, so you're gonna start seeing all these rolling hills. This is like the foothills of the Appalachia, and Allegheny.
And that's what they love. They
And like, there's not like north of Harrisburg is just small town, small mountain town after small mountain town after small mountain town. The Bald Eagle State Forest. You heard me mention that earlier. In some comments, that is like this area up here: Center Hall, Center County, Bald Eagle, Snowshoe, Bellefonte. I mean, that's like our version of Maine. It's like West Virginia up there. You know what I mean? It's like going to it's like going to our version of the sticks. And there's nothing out here. Moshahanon, like State Forest. Like if you go out to these areas.
Well, the topography of that map that you showed, it looks like
crazy.
It's heavily mined.
And it's uphill and rocky as hell, dude. I mean,
and heavily mined. You can see those ridges. And stuff like that. They're not crust.
They're all old mining towns. That's why.
That's why you're not gonna find any. I mean, maybe in another 50 years they'll be full of them, but right now, no.
Yeah, you're full of like these woods are full of ghost pipe and full of like chicken of the woods. And chanterelles. I don't find a lot of like reishi. I don't find a lot of that. It's hard. Not other people.
There's probably not that many hemlock.
Other people probably do, but I don't. So this is why would I use the app? Let's see. Right?
Yeah, because you're in an area, and if you're, if you do like what I did today, go on these hikes where, I don't know what's out there, but I'm going to do the hike.
Well, they're saying it's around the same area, so I see some pockets. Okay, it's not. All right, so it grows. I'm just not really, finding it.
Look at that one says hemlock burnish shelf, Gandaro Masuke.
Yeah.
And it was found today. Click on that one.
I could take me all the way back to Luxembourg if I click on that. Here we go.
Really? Yeah, that's right.
Here we go. Middlesex?
That's where it
I don't know. Let's see. Let's zoom out on the map. This looks like the U.S. That's by you. Dude, look how red it is by your area.
It's in Vermont.
Holy snakes. Yeah, look at you.
Okay, so now you understand why I go to Vermont.
Well, yeah, the main mushroom group, I'm in it, and all they post is reishi, and I'm down here like, oh, that's nice. Like, what are they, just trip and fall over that shit up there? Like, I can't find anything. Look at you guys. Looks like New York. I should go to New York. Yeah, look at that.
We got tons of pine and spruce up here, and hemlock.
You do.
A ton of hemlock, and they love hemlock.
That's wild. Thank you, Cowboy Crab. What an awesome name, dude. This person rocks.
Yeah, Cowboy Crab. That means he's a fisherman.
I don't know.
That's usually a fisherman's name.
All right, well.
But that looks like a girl, but
hey.
I could be wrong. Yeah.
They really like fungi. They found dog vomit slime. Common.
I found that. I posted. I haven't posted it on the Practical Forager site yet, but I'm going to post it on the Facebook probably later on tonight.
They found that today. They found. Yeah. See, this is what you can do with this website. You go down rabbit holes, like some foragers.
That's not dog vomit slime.
Let's look at it then. You don't think this is?
No.
Let's see.
Dog vomit slime is like yellow or red.
They got two pictures. All right. Wow, I can really zoom in. So.
And that looks like it's one of those cheap polypore. Well, I don't know. Maybe that could be. Yeah, that's dog vomit.
Wow, they got a great camera. I should make an account. I would like. This would be someone I would follow. You know what I mean? Cowboy Crab.
Well, their pictures on there, so I'm sure there's a way to find them. Probably.
Yeah, see what else they're finding. This is all today, 12 minutes ago. Wall lettuce. Here, look.
And that's up in Vermont. That's in Montpelier, Vermont.
Yeah, they're clearly in Vermont. What's that? We don't have that. I've never really seen that. That looks interesting.
Yeah.
That's just like a.
In other words, guys, iNaturalist works excellent. If you want to find out, say, everybody now is wanting to tincture wild lettuce.
Yeah.
Because wild lettuce also has a quote-unquote moniker or nickname as opium lettuce or crazy lettuce, and it's neither, okay? In terms of a comparison for a painkiller that's available in nature, it's a baby aspirin compared to what ghost pipe can do. So, but I understand that everybody starting out wants to do something that's fairly easy, and things like that.
Yeah, and it grows mostly
so
like in yards and stuff and nearby.
Yeah, it does. But one thing I do want to caution against: do not do that crazy method that everybody thinks is working by making it into a tar and boiling it in water in a crock pot for 2 days.
I would just make it into a tincture, everybody, or just put it in, or just put it into like a tea or something, right? Like, not even that.
You could do that if you dry the leaves.
Yeah.
You do that. That's what dried anything is good for. It's already lost the medicinal value conservatively 70% just by drying, and how you dried it also degrades it more. If you put it in a dehydrator, if you did it in an oven, if you did it out in nature in the sunlight, just hanging it, that's good. The other way is not so good. Heat denatures proteins. Proteins are the medicinals. Heat is a catalyst. That's chemistry 101 for you. So do it live. Always with live plants. And high-proof alcohol, because it also desiccates a bit, and it gets the water solubles as well as the alcohol soluble, the milky latex. So always do it with a tincture. It'll be much more potent, and you'll use less. And you are in charge of your own tinctures. That's why they call it an art. You perfect it for yourself, especially for self-use. If you don't like the taste of the alcohol, easy fix. Put your wine in number 1, because nobody's drinking shot glasses full of this stuff. And number 2, just put it in a cool drink, anything that you like. You're not even going to taste it, number 1. And for those recovering alcoholics that they think that this is going to trigger them, then use something less medicinal. Go ahead and do that arduous boiling in water and use the medicinal. Go ahead and try that,
Yeah,
it's whatever works for you.
The ghost pipe tincture is nice because you only need 3 drops usually for an average person. Everybody's different, but other tinctures, even the mushroom ones, you got to take a lot more. So it's not, it's one that you don't really need a whole lot of, if that makes anyone feel better. But hey, I want to let you know, I'm looking at these recent findings. There's a couple up north in Massachusetts, so maybe you should dip down further south.
Listen, I've already dipped down.
Dip down, dang it.
Several times, and I have to dip down again. I just don't know whether I'm going to dip down today or whether I'm going to dip down Tuesday.
Look at this one.
Not today, but tomorrow.
See, I wish I could go down towards Maryland area. There's a really nice empty area of just freaking ghost pipe right down there. But I don't.
I got my 2 friends down in Rhode Island that I talked to this week. They're like my summer buddies. They're a married couple. They've been together forever. I love them dearly. And Jevin, they just got a license plate that said Jevin. It's hilarious.
Looks like Wisconsin, they're popping
they're
off.
In Rhode Island. Check Rhode Island for me. Pull up Rhode Island on this map.
Well, someone just
I want to see if Rhode Island is popping yet.
Well,
because if they are, maybe I'll head down to Rhode Island.
There's so much red I can't even see. Hold on here.
No, further down.
I gotta zoom out. I got New Hampshire, Connecticut. There's Rhode Island.
Down along the coast. No, down along the coast. Connecticut is gonna.
I got it.
Like that little curl. See that down there? Keep going. That's Long Island. So Rhode Island, yeah, it's right about in there somewhere.
I mean.
I don't know if it's popping yet, though.
Yeah, these are all old. I don't know how to. Let me see if I can look at.
Yeah, that's Long Island Sound.
Here's the. I don't know. I gotta really think about how to navigate this thing. But yeah, there's probably a way to sort it.
Yeah, there is. They have all these great file folders that you can go in and out of. If you want to know more about it, filters, click on the filters, the species, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, here's Rhode Island. Look.
This is a great tool. And listen, when you guys are learning how to forage, it's listen. This is kind of a calling. When you're called to nature to do medicine, to make it for your loved ones and for you, it requires an investment.
Yeah.
iNaturalist is one of the best self-taught tools that there is out there. It's current.
Yeah.
It's what's there. Nothing gets, things get sent for verification to make sure that it's the right thing.
Yeah, and
but always double check.
And check it out. So, like, if you click around pretty good, even it's from last year, you look at the ghost pipe, and then you look at the date. So, like, if it, there's expired ones, but look, June 17th, 2020. So that was popping in June. There's October 2024. July 28th, 2024. So you're looking, July's really when this plant like really takes off for the most part. June, it was just a great first bloom because it's been raining like heck, but it looks like July is going to be another solid month, right? What do you think?
Yeah, well, each clutch is going to bloom 4 to 6 times.
Yeah.
So, by about, I don't know, let's say, I may find some the first week of October up in central Maine, mid-coast Maine, up in that area. But not too many. And
yeah, I'm seeing a lot of August.
I dipped down to Connecticut, in Long Island Sound and Old Lyme and all those areas down there, and some parts of northwest Connecticut in the Litchfield Hills. And they'll still have some. Not as plentiful, but some areas will.
Yeah, so you could, so whatever area you're in and whatever you're looking for, just start clicking around and like, honestly, you could like zoom in hardcore and then you go on Google Maps and you'd be like, where's the green part, the forest terrain? And then you're like, all right, it's in there somewhere, and just go find it. It's hard to.
Well, look at the altitude. Stack the map where you can, because see up on top there, there's a little icon to stack the map. You can change the view so it looks more.
There you go.
Something that you can understand.
Some satellite view. There you go. It's all green. So, yeah, that looks like a good area.
Yeah, wild, huh?
So, Camp Penogleset. You know what that is?
What?
How do you say it? Camp Penogleset. That's a lot of forest, dude. That's all forest.
And it's got a couple water sources there.
Tons of water sources.
And you can tell it's loaded with trees. The darker the tree cover is, the more boreal the area is.
Yeah, so if you lived in this area, you'd probably just go around here. Look, there you go, right there. Bam.
Nice, huh?
So, I don't know if you're looking to find it. That's how you use this thing.
Or if you're trying to ID a mushroom, go there first. Look at all the pictures of mushrooms that people have posted for your state, for your area. You can even further break it down for your area, but just for your state. And, and there's going to be a couple hundred pictures in there. And in those pictures, just gazing at the pictures really quick, you can knock out a whole bunch of them. You're going to get so good at the end of the summer that you can breeze through 200 pictures, 50 pages of 200 pictures in under 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Find your specific mushroom to narrow it down. So that's perfecting your craft at learning how to ID. Those things are important. And then you pick up the subtleties as you're out there in the field and you're doing the practical work. And we're going to give you the breakdown of the easiest way to tell the difference between a turkey tail and a false turkey tail.
Yeah, that's going to come up quick.
Practical reason. And by the way, it is not counting the pore size. Don't do that. That's crazy. I don't know who started that. That's another thing.
You ever been down in Jersey? There's a big pine forest down in Jersey. I've never been into it, but look at all these reportings. The pine forest.
Look at that. But look at all the ones that are close to the coast, too, and water sources.
Yeah.
On both sides of the river.
Yeah, the pine woods are crazy out here. It's just, people don't think of, like, New Jersey. They think it's all, like, busy and, Atlantic City and all that. But, dude, the pine forest is huge. So, I've never been. I know our buddy, there's a big off-roading and trucks and shit like that. That's what they do down there, and hunting. But yeah.
Okay, so Sarah has got the leg up on what to bring when you go out hiking with you, because she did that today. Sarah, good one. Sarah writes, I just drank coconut water with pineapple today. Also add salt and trace minerals to my water. She is on the money. Love it. A lot of people add Celtic salt. One thing I do want to caution about, remember, not all salt's the same. Our bodies still need iodine, so we don't get goiter and all those other kind of things. So make sure that you do have an iodine supplement if you do the salts and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be the Celtic. But, as long as you're having some of it in your diet. And she said she found dog vomit slime before.
What do you do with dog vomit slime? Nothing?
Nothing. Literally, it's gone in like a day and a half. You don't, first of all, it's not a fungus. It's not a mushroom. It's a slime. Slime molds are a completely different category, and I don't F with slimes.
Shoo, man. Sorry, I'm like looking at this map now.
The only thing I like to do with those slime molds is those red bubbly ones. I love to pop them and then video it, which I did and put it on our practical Foragers. Those make good little videos.
Yeah.
And they really are like red cream on the inside. It's crazy. It's like busting a red Twinkie open with your finger.
Yeah, man, there's no shortage of ghost pipe in Pennsylvania, dude. Everywhere you look, there's just little green dots. Damn, this one looks crazy. I should go to Hawk Mountain.
So listen, tell me, and let's get off the maps for a second. And tell
I'm just chilling.
About what was your good find this week that you found out in the woods?
Well, I didn't find it. Jen found it. It was chicken of the woods. That was probably the best surprise for sure, dude. It was like at least 2 pounds, 3 pounds.
And it was a sulfurous too, with that bright yellow underneath, right?
No, it was the other. It was Cincinnatus.
It was a Cincinnatus? Oh my goodness.
It was good, man.
I thought it was a sulfurous.
No.
Yeah, Cincinnatus was the best.
No, super fresh. She's never really had it, so that was good for her to try it. And I just fried it up.
They smell so sweet. They must have stunk up your car on the way home. Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I had a different plant on my mind, and then we came home with that instead. So it was that's what happens when you go foraging. You think you're gonna bring home one thing, and you bring home another.
Yeah, you definitely do.
But
like today when I was on the bog walk, I took a picture. There were these tiny little pink flowers that looked like almost like a miniature mountain laurel, but the edges of the flowers were singed a bit because of the heat that we've had the last couple of days. So it's hard to tell if it was a true mountain laurel or not, but we have those up here in New England, but not really in Maine. In Connecticut and in some parts of Massachusetts, yes, but it doesn't really come up into these northern
Dave said that these areas are just reported by foragers. There's not that many people looking. Dave, there isn't, but there's starting to be. And I'm just letting you know, I think some areas I've been to, I went back to thinking I left something for myself. And they were gone. I was like, uh-oh, someone's been here, so... Yeah, there's ghost pipe in particular is getting really popular. So you did the right thing, like I did. Get out, get it early, and treat yourself. That way you're done with it. So you're not fussing around and September, August, people start going crazy. Then you're not getting the right flower, and then you get ghost pipe fever, and you just start grabbing everything. That's what kills this plant, dude. So nobody, if anyone's listening to this, calm down. You'll get your ghost pipe. Go on iNaturalist and start putting in some time. But don't sit around. Don't wait. Go get it.
But listen, we want to encourage everybody to go out there and make their medicine.
Exactly. Yeah.
I may disagree with Annie on this subject. I don't think we're going to wipe out a species.
I didn't say that, but dude, I've noticed that people are.
No, but
I mean, I'm guilty of
Those people are
popularizing.
rippers.
I'm guilty of popularizing it myself because I've been talking about it for years. But what I'm saying is,
yes, but we're trying to get the message out because it actually heals people from so many things. This isn't something that you get high off of.
No.
It's known as a buzz killer. It's great.
And I don't think it's a secret anymore. And it's not a secret.
No,
That's,
it isn't.
people used to get pissed at you because.
I'm just kind of over people not processing it right and people taking copious amounts and overdosing their livers with salicylic acid, the raw form, by the way, because they're taking so much of it to get an effect that an effective tincture would get. What most people are doing, if they're tincturing and 80 proof, 100 proof, anything under 151, is they're getting more analgesic than they are the optimal medicinals out of it.
Yeah, I was trying to explain that too to a couple people, and like, well, more than a couple, but I have a dear friend last night, and he listens to these, so shout out to him, you know who he is, but yeah, I was explaining to him, I said, dude, like, high proof's the way to go, and I can tell you the scientific way of why it's better, or I'll just tell you it like this. I've made them both ways, and high proof is stronger than the other one. So what do you want me to say? Like that? There's not much. It's simple as that.
I kind of.
Do you like one or do you like number two? Number one is better than number two.
I know, right?
The high one works more efficiently than if I used 80 or 100. So that's just a personal choice. And I do think if you make it right.
When people defend.
Yeah, and it's fine to. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. That theirs is better, and then call me a know-it-all or a holier-than-thou kind of person because I was kind enough to leave a comment and leave, in my opinion, 190 proof is what you tincture, and this specifically was wild lettuce. And it was a person that Facebook name also included the word apothecary in it. Okay? Now, I don't like to bring a butter knife to a gun battle, okay? And trust me, if somebody's going to argue with me, you can expect the 50 cal to come out. So I go ahead and I look up their Facebook. They've only got 400 friends, but we have one mutual, and one of the mutual friends is also a client of mine. Okay? So, first of all, I'm going to have a talk with that client because well,
yeah.
If she's not, but anyways, I don't want my clients taking lesser medicinals and getting ripped off. In other words,
no, we want your clients to be really smart and really on top of what they're playing.
I want somebody who's invested in their health. I don't want somebody that is borderline agoraphobic and only gets their information from social media rather than other sources, Yeah. This is an unregulated FDA, non-approved, basically medicine. And, so you have to be smart. You've got to do your homework. You've got to talk to your doctor, have conversations with your doctor. I always tell people to have a conversation with the doctor, especially if they need to be titrated off med, because you should never do that alone, especially with a lot of opioids and heavy neurologicals and things like that, even Xanax, especially Xanax, benzodiazepines. You need to be medically supervised and titrated off of those because you think that you're okay. That's because you're, with benzos, you're not psychologically addicted as you would be with opiates. You are physiologically addicted. So you may think, okay, I don't have to take it anymore, and then wham, withdrawals bitch slap you. That's where Ghost Pipe comes in. It helps with the withdrawals, but you don't want to do this without your doctor because you could have seizures. There's all kinds of dire things that could happen.
Yeah, there's starting to be a bridge though between Ghost Pipe and titrating off of painkillers. So that bridge is being
and alcohol, by the way.
And alcohol, yeah. So alcohol, a lot of people.
And don't forget.
I want to touch on that real quick too.
Yeah, listen. taking reishi mushrooms and turkey tail together. That's why I created this so-called Trinity path, because they work so harmoniously, the three of them. It's ridiculous. Rishi's like nature's Xanax. Turkey tail is your immune booster. It's going to give you some oomph. Rishi's also going to help you rest better. It's also going to increase your muscle stamina. People with fibromyalgia, post, pre, peri, whatever kind of menopause, things like that. I mean, it works for everything. And alone, they each have their own individual, gold stars that they bring to this table. You know what I mean? So Ghost Pipe you can take as needed, and it works almost instantly as a nervine. It works great,
Yeah.
And we're pounding the pavement because I'm seeing people, hey, wild lettuce. No, that's just because it's in season right now. Why don't you try a real pain reliever that doesn't make you feel high? And opium, this wild lettuce doesn't make you feel opium-like at all. It's a mild, very mild sedative. That's it. And if it's that mild already, and you boil it in water and cook it into a tar in your crock pot, is that going to be any more effective? No, it's just going to be more grosser to take. And it's not going to have any of those medicinals. It's going to be all caked out.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I'm looking for the area, Piedmont. I'm not sure where that's in Virginia, right? I don't know where that's
Piedmont,
at.
I think it
Piedmont.
is. Did you say Piedmont?
I something like that. I don't know. I'm brain dead. I'm doing 5 things at once. Piedmont.
Get off of the map, dude.
Dude, I love looking at these maps, man. They're friggin' awesome. Look at this, dude. You ought to go down here. Look at Shenandoah. That's where my parents go camping. Right here, Shenandoah. You ever hear of this? You listen. I got the map.
Are we done with the memory lane right now? Because on Spotify, nobody can see the map.
Yeah, well,
So
shout out to our
down.
Spotify account. Everybody go there. But Shenandoah, yeah, that's on the bucket list. Hey, I'm trying to help Dave out, one of our listeners, all right? So
Listen, the way that Addie's geeking out right now on these maps, I want everyone to do this. Instead of going in these healing forums that everybody, even I scroll through them at night. We all know I do. Because I got
just
put that someplace.
instead of scrolling through like brain dead reels, scroll on your map, dude. Yeah,
yes,
plan your ghost pipe trips out.
Post pictures that you've taken out in the field that you're not sure what it is. Compare it with the mushrooms found in your state. Find out what's going on, and that's how you narrow it down. And then you do further research. You go on YouTube. You find reputable sites. Paul Stamets has got a lot of great, videos on YouTube on his TEDx and his, all those, TED Med talks, all kinds of stuff. And, you learn so much about them biochemically like that. And another good person to listen to is Adam Harrington. And, he's... What's the name of that Facebook? What's the name of his
Know Your Land.
Know Your Land.
Is that
Know Your
it?
Land. And I learned watching Adam Harrington. Okay?
Yeah, Dave likes the map. Thank you, Dave.
Listen, Adam Harrington combines the chemical, biochemical, biodiversity, what's nearby, the tree ID, what historical uses are, and what people use it for now medicinally, and any new information that they have on it. So he covers like all these major bullet points for me. And he can do that in sometimes under 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and I listen to podcasts when I'm out hiking. If I'm not listening to some technical science paper about mycology or some, plant that's out there, I'm definitely listening to these podcasts.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bunch. We already have 3 or 4 episodes on there, but we're gonna be doing these every other week. So we'll have a lot of episodes to listen to soon. But yeah, Dave, I think I found your area. That looks popping. Is this where you're at? Somewhere around here?
I think that's where James
Yeah, it's looking pretty good, but it looks populated. It doesn't look like a lot of forest. Here, let me go to my satellite imagery. Hold on, everyone. Janice, you're loving this.
I love Marie.
Wow.
Marie, hi, honey. I hope you and Davis are doing wonderful, and I hope you're staying cool in Texas, and that he's not doing too much around the house, because we all know those men. But hi, Marie. Look at here we are with the map again. Nobody's gonna see this on Spotify.
Listen. People on Spotify, check our Facebook Lives out. So for next time you want to get in on the visuals. But yeah, I could post this to YouTube as well, but there's just too much resharing. Spotify is nice because I have the audio. I'll just drop it right in there.
Yeah, remember that. We can't keep messing around with the map.
Hey, dude. Hey, listen. I think I don't know. I like the map. I like looking it up for people.
I know, it's fun to do that during a live, but yeah, Spotify, nobody's going to see the map.
It's all right.
They're just listening.
It's all right.
Oh my goodness, Addie, I love you. You know I do. So, chicken of the woods you found. You found black trumpets but didn't harvest them. And
no.
You've given me your solemn promise that you're going to go back there and harvest them.
Yes, I didn't give you a solid promise. No, I did not. I didn't promise you.
Well, I'm making you do that.
I'm not. So if you know anything about...
Those black trumpets go to waste, Daddy. God left them there for you. Come on, you got to go get them.
Yeah, so if anybody wants black trumpets, they're up a very about I would say 100-yard uphill walk towards a dam, and then you gotta keep going uphill towards this mountain, and then once you're kind of near the top of it, find a nice mossy area near some spruce, and there you go. They're right there.
Yeah, slope. There they are, black trumpets.
Yeah, so that's what I look for. Are they always coming out of moss like that, or grassy, like low grass?
I have found them on the side of gravelly roads.
All right, because I got Wikipedia up for everybody, so the maps are done for our listeners there. So let's see, what is description? Fruiting body, shaped like a funnel. It's in the...
And they're tiny.
Yeah, 0.5 to 8 centimeters.
A couple inches.
So about 3 1/4 inches wide, maybe.
Not even.
Yeah.
Sometimes
grow about 10. Maybe they might grow 4 inches at maximum. So that would be like a huge one.
But they grow in like clumps.
Mine were small.
So, listen, the best way to find these guys, believe this or not.
Oh man, here we go.
When you're looking, okay, here we go. When you're looking at the forest floor, okay, what you do see that looks like trumpet clumps, and this gets me every year, are those big pine cones. Because they look dark, it looks clumpy, it's like half in, half out of the leaf litter, and you think that you got trumpet, okay? The best way to suss it out whether the trumpets or not, and again, it is the toddler 101 version. You bend down the size of a toddler, turn your head to the side, and scan the forest floor that way.
Yeah.
It's much easier to
I do that
spot
actually.
that way.
I'm sorry, I was assuming. But yeah, crouching down and looking.
Yep, crouching down and looking. And they will grow where water runs from. So
hence downside of a mountain, right?
Yeah, downside of a mountain. So find where there was a recent washout, sometime this spring, and start walking along that washout. And if you find mossy areas, even better, but these come up in leaf litter too, not just moss. That's why I'm saying, you cut the cherry patch though, because you're not going to have any bugs in them at all. And they're could be easy to clean when they're growing up out of moss, really.
Yeah, they're pretty cool too.
Yeah, you just pick them, and they they are. They're like a horn of plenty, and the end of it that you pick off, you're gonna see it. It's like a little bud, kind of. That's how you can tell that mushrooms are really what flowers are to plants. So they're just anchored differently to the mycelium layer. But these, you can pull up like a whole bunch of them all at once. If it's good.
I can't believe I left them. That was totally fumbled the bag there, as the kids would say. Yeah, I'm surprised I took a picture because, dude, I was like, huh, that. All right, next. Look at all that ghost pipe. See ya. And then I'm walking.
And look at them. See, they look like. Look at the picture that you got up right now. The trumpets in the back that you would dismiss for a pine cone being underneath them.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up my trumpets here. Let me see.
Oh, you got a perfect shot of trumpets.
Yeah, I actually went all in and crouched down and everything.
A lot of my trumpets, I pick pine needles out of my trumpets all the time when I clean them because you split them right down the middle. And sometimes in the bottom of those horns, you'll get debris, you'll get either leaf litter, you might get, a little beetle here or there, not that many. These are pretty buggy-free, actually. The slugs will get to them eventually when they start melting, but these are really good, and they're easy to clean. I just use a paintbrush and just brush off all the debris. And then fry them up in a pan with garlic, onion, butter, a little bit of olive oil, way more butter if you want to make a black trumpet butter that you can freeze and use for later use all year long. There they are. Look at that. Look at those beauties. Look at them. Look at them. And some of them are already expiring. You see the big fluffy ones that are laying down? Those are past prime.
So you wouldn't yeah, I noticed that. So I wouldn't harvest them, but all the other ones are still straight up or looking good.
Oh yeah. Even the fallen ones, though, sometimes it could have been an animal that stepped on it. I pick them up, and if they're still firm, and you can tell if they're firm.
Are these as big as they get?
Because these dry, yeah, that's about as big as they get. You can find big clusters where they'll get you like 6 inches tall, but that's far and few and in between,
Yeah,
mainly you're going to get small clusters like that.
Yeah, here's the full.
And sometimes you don't even notice them until you're standing literally right over them.
No, I noticed them right away, and then there's a million tiny ones.
Yes, you got to go back. Oh my God.
When did I post this? Hold on. They're still going to be there, right? Like, what is this, a week ago?
This
1 week.
That
was 1 week ago.
Mid-1961 Corvette coupe.
Oh, shut up. Dude, look, everybody's blowing this thing up, too. 261 likes, dude. They've been hammering me, and I haven't had the heart to tell these beautiful people of Pennsylvania that I left them up there either. Well, if they listen to this, they're going to know, but
I commented on that one. I'm going to have to change my comment.
Get him. Get him.
He let him go.
He let him go, that faker.
People make black trumpet salt with these.
I know.
These are really easy to dehydrator, by the way. These are okay to dehydrate. These are great anti-inflammatory to eat, to incorporate in your diet. I like to cook fresh, just like I like the tincture fresh, and find ways to preserve it that way. Usually that's with making duck cells. You can do that with any mushroom.
Yeah.
And you just go spoon off a chunk out of a Tupperware container, out of some container you got in the fridge.
Let's
wax, whatever.
Let me find that chicken, dude, because that chicken was good, dude. That was a big.
That was a huge haul.
Yeah, and to find it in the middle of the heat like that was kind of abnormal in my opinion. It was like 100 degrees. It was one of those 100-degree days, and I was like, dang, dude, that's a big chicken on a hot day. I don't know where it is. I'm just scrolling. We're wrapping up anyway,
yeah,
so.
David got a cauliflower mushroom.
Yeah, dude.
David got the noodle of the wood.
The noodle of the wood.
You fry those
there
things
it is.
up, and they're like noodles. They're like egg noodles.
Yeah, there's
that cauliflower mushroom is pretty good.
Yeah,
and you know what's cool about a cauliflower mushroom? If you get it primed, it'll last in the fridge like 2 weeks.
Really?
Yes, I had one, and I caught it primed. And the way that I put my mushrooms in the fridge to slow retard their growth a little bit, you know, especially when they're primed, is I'll get brownies and I'll dampen them. Dampen, by the way. And I'll wrap the mushroom in it, and I always put the mushroom in glass. I don't seal it either. Okay? So this cauliflower mushroom that I picked, it almost made it to 3 weeks before it started to turn.
Yeah, I seen them last year. I didn't bring that home either. I didn't, so dropped the bag again.
Yeah. Oysters are good to freeze. Anybody can freeze oysters. They freeze very well. Same thing with chicken of the woods, hen of the woods, all that stuff freezes.
Yeah, let's touch on these yellow oysters real quick that are just absolutely taking over the forest in PA.
The golden oyster, yeah. Listen, they're invasive. They're not from here. They're from Asia.
I mean,
probably let a grow box out and just went crazy. And they're taking away the habitat that are native. You know, Pleurotus austrias, you know, are normal.
I don't see white oysters as much this year, just yellows.
But they're so invasive that cooperative extensions of universities, different states, ag programs, and stuff like that, they put out tip lines. They want to know, like on iNaturalist. So if you see these, put it on iNaturalist. This right here that you caught, this photo that you took here.
Yeah, this was the other day.
Amazing, by the way. That is the most beautiful, amazing cluster of golden oysters I have ever laid my eyes on.
I know. I was gonna post that one on the Pennsylvania group and say, hey.
Did you harvest those?
No, dude. I just harvested. You listen to me real quick. I need a second freezer if I'm going to harvest these. I have a freezer full of chicken from the friggin' day before, so I don't want to hear it. Dude, there's just me and Jen.
Invest. Get those little chicken
I'm not
freezers.
investing into nothing, dude. There's too much.
No, you can fry them up. You can give them to your family. They can freeze them. You can make butters out of them, duxelles. You can dehydrate them. And put them in the
I think dehydrating them would be my move. I think dehydrating them would be my move, but like,
that's all you gotta do.
I'll be honest. I think I'm kind of spoiled with them because that was just the one log. I mean, there was multiple ones, not as big and as much as that, but they're really taking over.
I have to tell you, my friends and my family, they love my Christmas gifts and my birthday gifts and all these other kind of gifts that I give to them during the year because they always are going to have something with mushrooms in them.
Yeah, they're going to have some.
You know what I mean? Yeah, whether it's tinctures or whether it's dried mushrooms or poultices, whatever, something they're going to have. They love it. So gather them. If you can preserve them, gather them. Because if not, they're just going to go to waste. Yeah,
it was fun. I hadn't seen them all year, and then I found this area of the forest, and clearly they're invading. But
you know what we're going to start seeing next? We're going to start seeing those pink oyster mushrooms that grow in a pond.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm not familiar with that.
That's going to be the next one. You watch.
Well,
yes, they're invasive, and there are consortiums that are keeping track of where the line is for how these invasives are going to be taken off and what they need to do preemptively, if anything.
Yeah.
So, because they could feed on live trees, infect, good trees. So that's why they want to keep an eye on it because it's invasive. It's not from here.
Yeah.
No.
But, I think I'm going to wrap it up. We're a little over an hour. Go to our Spotify. We're going to be pushing that. We have a YouTube channel that's going on a little bit in the works. So just keep hanging with us. Thanks for all the new members. 175 plus members this week. So thanks for everybody who's been contributing. And that's pretty much all I got. What do you got? Anything?
Well, David David made a comment I want to answer before we
Okay.
sign off.
Yeah, absolutely.
David said that he finds the cauliflower, every year in the same place. Yeah, just like hen of the woods, just like chicken of the woods, just like reishi, they're gonna come up all the time. It's a mushroom, and you just gotta hope you get to it before somebody else does.
Yeah, that's a trick around here, I've learned.
With that sentiment being, everybody eat your mushrooms, keep your hands to yourself, be kind to one another, and self-care is not selfish. So get out there in the trail.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you next time. In the meantime, we'll talk to you in the forums. Bye, everybody.
See ya.